playing in Chris, it doesn't matter.
I now play the Steelers D. Never mind.
Yeah, I, as well as my horrendous decision to drop Crowder, I was also very close to picking up the Jets again. Either one of the decisions would have obviously got me the win.
Yeah, it's okay.
Not that I would have deserved to win, so I can't really be too.
Sometimes you just need to get.
Not that I would have deserved.
You just need to take these sort of like losses. And,
Exactly. To be fair, to either make, which would have been a pretty bold decision to play Jamison Crowder, despite what it is, or to go back to the Jets a week after they got absolutely spanked by Miami. I think both would have been Herculean decisions that were more.
That was just like
what really shocked me, and we'll cover it, I think, is Breeze.
Yeah,
that's the thing that shocked me.
He looks so bad.
It shouldn't take me to make one of those decisions to win a week when you've got Drew Brees playing Atlanta.
See, this is the thing, isn't it? Is that he looked like an old QB.
Yeah, it's because I was listening to the podcast. One of the podcasts, they were kind of saying like they don't do a vertical game with Brees anymore, and what Atlanta did a really good job of was kind of just keeping everything in front of them and shutting down the short to intermediate, so they couldn't physically do anything about it.
So that's the thing. I think that Breeze will. Breeze will become he can't do what Tom Brady does because he hasn't got the system around him to do what Tom Brady does. Yeah. So eventually he'll just be phased out. I thought Bridgewater did a really good job.
He did really well. Yeah, Breeze's first game against Arizona was okay. Well, he was pretty good in that one, but yeah, interesting. Anyway, we will discuss it.
The whole Liam Kumar day effect. Not really out. Nigel couldn't make it. I ran out Mendon always said he could make it. Don't do this whole Phil Predator guy. He's always managed to do well. But he is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No. It was Freeman.
My life from Rashad Mendon.
I'm tired, Jack. I'm tired.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the LOC Report, and you must be thinking, gee, we only had one of these 4 days ago, and you're right, you are. You should count your blessings, and even more so because Chris waded through the rampant Hedge End traffic just to be here.
It was my fault, I will say this now, it was my fault I was there, but at the same time, it just shouldn't be that way at 7 o'clock at night. Like, what's everyone doing?
Yeah.
I know, I know that I was going there for food, but they can't be like.
Is there anything on at the Aegeus Bowl tonight?
There can't be anything going on down there, surely not.
I don't know.
I just don't know. I mean, it was so poor. But anyway, we're here.
Yeah,
we're back.
We are.
This is the equivalent of like Thursday night football, which
Yeah, basically.
But it's not Thursday night; it's Wednesday night. Because Thursday night would be a bit disappointing. And this is where we should be, right? The Sundays where we shouldn't be.
Yeah. The Sunday pods, as we know, do have a bit of charm to them, but nothing like a midweek pod to break up your NFL week.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It breaks up the days. That's why we put it on this day. Tomorrow you've got Thursday night football.
That's it.
Friday's the other break day.
The hype isn't quite real yet. On Sunday, it's sort of you passed it. You've done all your research, or you should have done.
Yeah.
Some people have.
Yeah.
But come Wednesday, at least now, you can sort of watch us.
Start of your week.
Listen to
watching some film.
That's it, yeah. Listen to what
Putting
we've got
your
to say
game plan
about your
together.
thing. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Our opinions on your team, you might not care. You might care.
Yeah.
Who knows? But you can base your opinion of what you're going to do on what we think. So, there you go. This is what we do.
It sure is.
This is what we do.
And what also do we do, Chris?
We do the league news.
We do the league news.
Every week.
Yeah, and I suppose the other advantage on Sunday in terms of a league point of view, more stuff has happened in the league by Sunday because it's right up to the point.
Yep.
Which brings me to the key transactions of the week, of which there is only one, because it is Wednesday. But it was a quiet week for waivers, actually, anyway. Nothing really major going down. The only one I put down was Brian Hill for AJ Brown, $17 from bucking the trend.
Brian Hill, I looked at this, right? I looked at the pros and cons of this guy. If you really want the Atlanta running back, why would you want that? Because
as a Freeman owner, I can confirm not the best
all I've been doing all year is slagging the fact that Freeman's been doing nothing for you. So you're going to get effectively Devonta Freeman for 1 week.
Yeah,
he's got a decent matchup for 1 week. Even if he doesn't play, even if he plays the second week, he's playing San Francisco.
Yeah.
So you pay $17 for a guy for a week. Let's just hope it gets you over the line.
Yeah, and we can have a quick look at Mike's budget. Apologies, dear listeners, I didn't add the budget before waivers went through. My bad.
No one did anything anyway.
But I don't think it affected anyone. So you have the money now. So Mike's got 77 left. So at this point in the season,
you can sort of get it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna win, pay for games, you might as well pay for games. And it's at this point as well, is that there is a defined order of people in the league or teams in the league. And you've really got to do well to try and break that now, or certainly have a good run in the last few weeks to break that.
Indeed. We said last week that I think, what was it? Ross, I think, was the wildcard spot with 6 wins last week. So we'll see what happens next. But at best, there's only possibly a team that was 1 win behind him now. That's the key transactions. So we'll just mosey on over to Debate Corner. I feel like Debate Corner is going to need its own jingle.
It's a thing now, yeah.
It's become its own segment.
That's it.
All
of these segments have grown organically over the last 5 years.
That's how a segment should grow, right? You shouldn't ram something.
We started off with just doing the previews. Then we went for the reviews and previews.
Yeah.
Previews. What is that? Previews. Reviews and previews, and then we went league news, and then the bit in the middle, and that's it. No, it is what it is now. So those who've been watching a long time will know it started from very humble beginnings.
It did
in a garage. With it didn't even have a microphone. What did we have?
It was like a little clip thing that you can record.
That's
yourself dictating.
So that's what we had. It was like a radio show. Now this is quite the setup.
Yeah, sure is. We've even got Monday Night Football on behind us.
Pete Carroll shouting at an official. That's generally what happens.
That's what we're seeing. There's a flag. It's offside on the defense. So we're giving you everything.
Of course, he's shouting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of which, Thanksgiving's not long off.
No, it's not really.
I know you're busy on Thursdays, but we do love a live Thanksgiving podcast.
It would be good.
So maybe Chris can close the schedule. If not, no worries.
No. So that would be good. I have to say, it's going to be what? Yes, from 6.
Either next week or the week after, maybe?
Yeah.
We will double check, listeners.
That's it.
Anyway.
In that case, you wait for that. I can potentially clear my schedule. I'm
good. But we have Debate Corner to talk about now. And this week on Debate Corner, so far we've talked about week 1 on Debate Corner was the possible added roles to the league.
Yeah.
GM and owners. Last week was the roster structure. And this week it is waiver review. Obviously, we've had the budget waiver system for a few years now, and we've tweaked it both of the last 2 years with the additional budgets. So it's really part discussion, but then I also have notched down, if there would be some appetite to change it, what we could potentially change to. So first of all, Chris, we should always start where we are with what do you think of the current system?
Well, the current system has worked. I think it works really well. I mean, in the past, you've had a series of teams that have been either unlucky or bad, and they've managed to monopolise waiver transactions. So if you've got a decent team who's middling at best.
Let's say the Tugfarts, good example.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Let's say you're middling or you're a really good team. That's it. You'll never get anything.
No.
Unless you get in free agency or anything like that. Mm-hmm. In this way is that everyone's equal. Everyone's got an equal opportunity to be able to do something and buy these players. Everyone's got the same budget, and at the moment, that's it. If you do badly, you get more money to outspend people. At this point of the year, that's really important.
Yeah, which was the thing we added in, obviously, because when it was straight parity, I didn't really want to do that, but I felt we needed to try the system before we made any tweaks to it. And I think it has helped
massively
paritize the league at least a bit more, because
I firmly believe that. I think that if you have each individual person has a value on somebody, which is higher or lower. As we've seen, it's like, Ross thinks Alan Vinatieri is worth $30. The Colts think he's worth nothing.
He might not even have a job this weekend.
I think that he's not worth picking up. That's the sort of difference that we make. But people can make a decision for themselves. And as we come back, if I sort of come back to something we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where we were talking about managers and GMs and coaching.
Yeah,
that's it. That's a real big part of the GM process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that is placing a value on somebody, and then later on in the year, saving the funds you've got.
Yeah.
Potentially somebody else who blows up. You see, like with Mike, picking up Brian Hill. You can pick Brian Hill up for $17 like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But now he's got the money. Now he's got that. He can afford to do things like that to potentially buy some wins later on in the year. I quite like the idea of the lesser teams being able to do that. But here's the thing, is that the weeks that really matter are the midweeks, the bye weeks.
Yeah.
Let's say weeks 5 to 9, where the players that are going to establish themselves are going to happen in those weeks.
Yeah.
But by that point, you think you'd have a lot of budget left. So, there is, there are pros and cons, but mostly pros, and the pros really is that everyone's the same. Everyone's got the same. It allows individual people to attribute a value, and also it gives you a massive, at the end of the season, it gives you a massive indicator as to who's a good GM or not.
Yeah, certainly. And I think what you said as well about with the waivers not getting a shot at the end, I've almost found with the system, I don't know if it's maybe people have more stuff going on, or maybe it's the system, but you would see, I would say probably 75% of teams in a given week claim someone in the old system. And now, it's not surprising if you only see 2 or 3 teams make claims, which does, again, lend to the free agent part of it, which, again, if you need the help, you can go get it. If you don't, the pool is there. And obviously we've cut down the rosters, which may have helped as well.
Well, that does help. I mean, look at this year. I'm going to talk from my experience, is that, I look at free agency. I picked up Carlos Hyde and Austin Hooper and Darren Watt off free agency. And those 3 have been with my team quite a while, and the Bills D, they've been there a while, and the Steelers D So you call it 5 of the 15 that I've got, that I've had off of free agency. Yeah, Dak Prescott's been off the waivers. I paid a lot of money for him, but that's it. So what? Everybody else has been drafted. Yeah. So if you play them well, and you play free agency well particularly, then you can really pick up value as you go, but you have to be able to do your research. And then I bring it back to the same points I made last week, is that if you don't play the game well, you don't do your research, and you just take a back seat, you aren't going to win the league. Or you certainly aren't going to improve a team that otherwise would be average.
Yeah, that's very true.
Otherwise, you end up falling to the bottom, as we've seen with teams like Viv's team this year, Pat's team.
Even my team, I've not had a good.
Even your team,
free agent wise.
You have to give people like Mike, who had a garbage team 5 or 6 weeks ago. Has played the waivers. He's tried a little bit to try and make that team better. He's up to 5-5. Yeah, that
spoilers.
Indeed. I wonder who won. But there's a bit of luck involved there. But also, I think that if you get the right people in the right place, and your dad's been like that for the last few years, you have to do it well, and by having this system, it allows you to do that, especially in times of crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the only last little thing before we move on from Debate Corner is, Chris is very pro the system. I am like Chris, I like it, but I don't know still if it's better than some alternative. And just 2 alternatives that have cropped up in discussions, I think, is no reset. So there is an option to not reset at all. So once you make a claim, you go to the back of the order.
Okay.
Which, if you think about it, kind of has some merit, but then you kind of have this Cold War scenario of, I'm not going to use it this week.
Yeah.
But then if no one else uses it either, it just makes a bung fight for free agency. So yeah. Or one that was my idea, just as not something I'm going to push or anything, just as an alternative to discuss, waiver lottery. Now this wouldn't be straight 1 to 12 out of a hat. Here you go. It would probably be something like you have 2 halves. So you have, teams rank 1 to 6 in one bucket, then teams rank 7 to 12 in the other. And you pick 7 to 12 first. Whoever comes out first obviously has the number 1 priority, second, third, blah, blah, blah. And then you pick the second bucket, and it would be 7 to 12 from then. So, again, each week it changes on standings. And even though you're 12, you might be first in the standings, so it doesn't mean you're going to be last. You could be anywhere from 7 to 12. just as another idea to chuck out there that might, and that would obviously be similar to the old system where there'd be no budget part of it. But
yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I love the fact that at the moment it's in the individual's hands.
Yeah, it's
entirely in the individual's hands in how they value it for that week. If you did it that way, it takes it out.
Yeah, it does peel off an element. Yeah,
complete chance. It's it. Yeah, again, people can luck out. People can do this and that. I'd rather not leave it. I'd rather be able to look at someone and say, look, that's it. That team's shit because that team because that coach is bad or that GM's bad. Not because they got a lucky waiver budget or waiver lottery in week 3.
Indeed. But that is the end of Debate Corner. So
I have one for next week, by the way.
Oh, okay. We'll skip the AGM schedule for next week and audible to whatever Chris has. But
you won't know it till next week. But yeah, so you wait. It's a very small thing, but
that's okay.
It could have big implications.
Yeah, indeed. But we will go then to the week recaps. Week 10, big one, and we start as always with the marquee matchup. And last week's one was a big one because it pitted the number 1 seed team against the number 4 seed team. Ross's team took on the Tugfards. In a battle for potential playoff supremacy, 4 Weddings and a Few Newsom took on the 8-1 Tugfards. The Tugfards, they were the Gypsy King for a long time, but the king is dead. Long live the king. Ross is the new king as he takes down the Tugfards 111 to 100. Matt Ryan had an okay day with 19, but it was the rest of the roster that brought the win home for Ross. Josh Jacobs got 16, Amari Cooper with 21, Michael Thomas with 15, and the Ravens defense 25. On Phil's side of the ball, Patrick Mahomes was a massive boost to the roster. He got 36 points, but really no one else stepped up. Golden Tate got 20, he had a good day, and Jarvis Landry got 16, but behind that, not much doing. History of this matchup now moves to, wait for it, 2-5 in favour of Ross. That's probably not what you would have expected to hear.
No, not at all. Right, so can I just say there are 2 absolute massive lulls in this game. That's it. Firstly, the entire Cincinnati Bengals offense, which is a big lull for the rest of the year. If you want to play your D against Cincinnati, then please do. That's it. Because they're going to be hilariously bad for the rest of the year. They're absolutely sinking like a stone. They've seen Miami do well and they've gone, well, so we've got to counter that by being terrible. So there you go.
Yep. Tua's going to Cincinnati. That's what you know.
Well,
Tua Tagovailoa. I can't pronounce his last name. He's a Florida quarterback.
That's it. He's very good as well.
Yes.
He's really, really good. Well, at that level. So is Tim Tebow. But we'll say that. Anyway, that's it. The other thing is that Kirk Cousins has come back to haunt Phil.
Yeah, big time.
Oh dear. Yep. So Kirk Cousins had a career day. Well, ish. Against the Cowboys, he had a great day. That's it, and wrecked Phil's chances at the same time. Look, I'll put it out there here. Golden Tate had a great game, but against the Jets, terrible defense. Jarvis had a good game. That's it, like that. Big Pat had a good game against Tennessee as well, because that was just like a crazy game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's it, the supporting cast again, not quite there.
Well, you say the supporting cast. There is one key player in there I'd like to point out.
Saquon
Barkley. Do you want to know Saquon Barkley's average yards per carry in last week?
Is it 2?
No, it's 2.75 inches.
That's it.
He had 12 carries for 1 yard.
The 1 yard.
1 yard. Like he had the high ankle sprain, which clearly he must still be having after effects from.
It's hardly ideal, though. I have heard that I think Sam Darnold was the highest rusher in that game.
That's quite funny, and also not surprising because Lev Bell is also banged up at the moment.
That's it. I think he had. This is no shit as well. Sam Darnold had more rushing yards, I think, than any of the other running backs combined, which is a joke.
Wow.
And he scored a rushing touchdown.
Gotta love the Snoopy Ball.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's grim. Anyway, we'll forget about Phil's team for a moment because 100 points is still a really good score. Albeit when Big Pat scores 35 points, you sort of expect it. On the other side, we saw Ross's team last week as the sort of hipster dark horse, and he absolutely is living up to that claim again, with arguably the best receiving core in the league at this point. Josh Jacobs scoring 16 points every game, and a useful, if not useful QB, if not very high scoring. 10 Coleman knocking it in there for 7 points. Sanders, in a game that was a bit of a shootout, didn't do so well, but he did great the week before, so he'll come back from that. Look, 111 points there. So we see him score those sort of points every year. Oh, yeah. Once every couple of games. I think that Ross's team is well in with a shout here.
Oh yeah.
He's
feeling confident.
I'm sure he is.
I talked to him. He feels like he's got a chance this year
with that receiving core. And a stud running back. I don't blame him. The Ravens D as well. I mean, we can't really not look past that.
Yeah.
Because they look scary. But they are playing Cincinnati, so
that does help. So Ross moves forward 7-3, and like I said, Tug Cards, they get their second loss of the year, which we would both agree here is well overdue.
I agree.
Our next game then, it pits Bare Necessities against Bucking the Trend. Bare Necessities, an early season powerhouse, entered this one on a 4-game losing streak. Meanwhile, Bucking the Trend was coming in off of a win at 4-5. Well, they'd make it 2, and they're back level at 5-5 now. Meanwhile, Bare Necessities slumps to a 5th loss in a row, 4-6 now. Bucking the Trend won this one 86-70. Mostly on the back of Daniel Jones. He got 38 points for Bucking the Trend, and Melvin Gordon got 19 as well. Nobody else sniffing above 8 points. Bare Necessities, I've got a funny anecdote here, but we'll cover off the good first. Nick Chubb got 12, Travis Kelce got 14, and the Rams D carried the side to 70 for 23. It was, however, Jared Goff that blew it with only 4 points. My dad checked the score on Monday morning, and I heard through the room was, "Oh, you knob, Jared Goff." And that tells you all you need to know. And there is no history here because they've never played each other.
So before we get on to Jared Goff's terrible display, I've just seen a great stat on the TV here on Monday Night Football that Russell Wilson is through his first 8 seasons, has thrown 219 touchdowns for 64 picks. Can I just say that is
pretty good ratio?
An unbelievable ratio. Yep. Bearing in mind that there was Peyton and Dan Marino both on there, and they've done more than about the same type of TD mark, but their interception would double or more for Peyton. Which is absurd.
Russell is a very good quarterback.
That's it. Russell Wilson. He's your guy. We'll come back to that later on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for now, it is a tale of 2 QBs. That's it. There's not a great deal else separating these two teams. We were talking about the waiver wire earlier on and some bold picks and some bold plays. And Daniel Jones has been a bold pick and a bold play a lot of the time this year.
Yeah. He's been very boom or bust, but
very much
got him on a boom week. So.
But when he goes, doesn't he go? 38 points there. So, I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, and you're getting good value out of that. It doesn't matter that the Rams D scored 23 points. It doesn't matter that Nick Chubb scored 12. It doesn't even matter that Travis Kelce scored 13. It doesn't matter at all because he's made up for just under half the points there.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon's coming good at the right time for Mike. Other than that, it's not very exciting, but it'll do. 86 points is a solid total.
Yeah.
Won't win many weeks, but this week it will. Dave, on the other hand, oh my days! I mean,
it's turning ugly. For a while, we've been saying this team with the losses, it's not been down to them, but it's going south fast.
Very much so, and the reason why we said this on the pod on Sunday was that we hated the matchup.
A lot of buys here as well, just to add.
Granted, but there was also you could have picked up rushing king Sam Darnold.
Oh yeah, well when my dad said that, I couldn't help but chuckle because I was like, what were you expecting?
What did you expect?
Jared Goff on the road against a Pittsburgh defense, which has been over the last month or two up there with the Patriots
and the 49ers. They've been great. You have to say that playing their matchups really does help. But that is really all you got there that separates them. Fair play to Mike. He's picked the right QB this week. He had Cousins as well.
He got 23, but he wouldn't have
won a week.
He would have just won a week. I think it would have been a close.
It'd been so close. So right team selection in the right week for a very very bold play.
Yep, indeed. Next one then. It was Tom's Tyrants against the Dream Team. The Dream Team doesn't really have a hope of their division, but they were looking to play upset for Tom's Tyrants, who does, and they would not, though, as it turned out, because Tom's Tyrants won this fairly comfortably, 99-68. They now go to 5-5. Meanwhile, the Dream Team drops to 4-6. For Tom's Tyrants, Kyler Murray, the rookie, gets 33 for them. A great day for him. Chris Carson got 16. Austin Eckler got 11. And Matt Gay, the kicker, got 12. On the other side, Derek Carr only got 15 for the Dream Team. Ronald Jones, which was a good start, he got 15, but it wasn't enough to take down Tom's Tyrants. History of this matchup is now 4-9 in favour of Tom's Tyrants.
Yep, the Dream Team, it really is not turning into a dream for them this year. It's
turning into a nightmare.
Very much so. The regular season champions from last year, that's it. Not going to happen this year. If you want the reason why you draft a team yourself and not run the auto draft, this is the one. It just hasn't really got going for Viv all year, and it's not going to get going anymore. The one stud that he's got in there is Ezekiel Elliott, and that hasn't really worked out this
they've
year.
actually become a very good passing team.
Very much so.
Under Kellen Moore, so...
Amari Cooper's the guy with value this year. Zeke hasn't really been that guy. Picked up Derek Carr. Derek Carr's been fairly consistent all year, but hasn't really set the world alight. I think he's only been over 20 points 4 times all year, which...
We can bring that up and have
I think 4 times. I could be wrong. Maybe even less than that. 3 times.
Yeah.
There's a couple of 19s, alright, fair enough. So a couple of 19s and 2 20s, 2 over 20s.
But look, to your credit, 4 points, not even 10 points wouldn't have made the difference.
He is what he is there, but look, it's not particularly exciting, and he's going to hope for touchdowns. The one ray of hope that I will say is that Ronald Jones has become the number 1 in Tampa, which is quite exciting. Yeah,
on an offense, despite Jameis's turnovers, is still humming.
Yep, absolutely right. I see it. They're an exciting team to watch. On the other side, Tom's picked up Kyler Murray. That's it. He's turned good. Second half of the season, he's coming good. Exactly what he wanted in the first part of the season. That's it. That rushing floor's there. He's now throwing for passes. He's now throwing for touchdowns. I think that next year he will have the value. This year, he will have a few boom and bust weeks. Especially
you get that with the rookie. The good matchup's going to do well. The hard ones he won't. He did have a pretty. I can't remember the exact number, but it was about 176 pass attempts between interceptions. So he's been playing pretty well.
Yeah, as you'd expect for someone of his undoubted natural
pedigree.
And I say, if consistent, if not unbelievable scoring from Tom. Carson did well in a tough matchup. Eckler's knocking out the touchdowns again, or was it the touchdowns made the week there. But otherwise, it's not particularly exciting.
No.
Chris Godwin's really slowed down.
Yeah, he has.
The last few weeks. And
I just like to say as well, Kellen Ballage, we said it.
Oh, Kellen Ballage, yes, I forgot about that. Yes,
less than 5 points. We all knew it was going to happen. Luckily, it didn't cost.
It was a horrific game though.
Yeah. Next one, then we go on to. Was this the marquee? No, this wasn't. This was the marquee match.
This was.
Apologies to you, Chris.
It shouldn't have been.
But it was the co-marquee matchup, basically, so it's fine. But hey, here we go. Forge Flyers against Ixan. The Friendship Bowl occurred in Week 10, and they are still friends, don't worry. But Ixan did win it, 105-89. They now move to 6-4. Meanwhile, Chris drops his first one in a while, I think. They go to 7-3. So, 105-89. Looking down the lineups, Ixan. Phil Rivers hasn't been good for a while. He only got 14, but that was clearly enough. Derrick Henry erupted again against the poor Chiefs defense. Don't want to say it, Chris, but I did call it.
Yep.
Maybe not 31 points, though.
No.
Dalvin Cook got 24. Those duo really have carried Ixan all season long because nobody else apart from Zane Gonzalez went over 10. He got 11. For you, Chris, Dak Prescott did Dak Prescott things with 32 points. Christian McCaffrey did Christian McCaffrey things for 20 points. And then the rest of your team didn't really do all that much, unfortunately. The history of this matchup, then, it goes against the grain because Ixan improves the record to 4-9 in favour of Chris.
I had to give him one. No, it's very much still friends here. Look, I just think for me, the last loss that I had was I think 5 weeks ago.
A while ago,
which is nice. And exactly the same thing happened, which was Dak did well, McCaffrey did well, and there was just a lack of touchdowns throughout the course of the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Now I've had my average of touchdowns this year, so I'll take this one. But it's not very often that you see Marlon Mack I suppose you see him in that touchdown
that was really a combination of a few things. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett not being there didn't help. Brian Hoyer was a turnover machine in this one. They didn't have any receivers to rub together. I think their top 3 receivers on the depth chart were out injured in this one. So Miami were going to be able to just lock in on the run game. And Miami have looked a lot better over the last month, to their credit.
That's it, yeah. But Flores done alright. He's a defensive coach. He's
lowest amount of penalties, I think either penalties or penalty yardage or both in the league.
Yeah, which you'd expect from someone who's extremely defensive coach.
Yeah.
So, and he's doing good things there, and he will do good things in there in time. That's why they employed him. But you just need to have a good team. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that's not the week. Mike Evans has been a beast, but wasn't in a blowout win.
It was surprising in such a high scoring game as well. We saw Chris Godwin didn't have any touchdowns either. So really weird week.
It was strange. It really was.
I think OJ Howard scored. That summarised how weird it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Darren Larson scored for a couple of weeks. I got the pick of Latavius Murray. The game didn't go the way it should.
We did say as well, we weren't sure what kind of role was going to be there. Look, Kamara didn't do much either. It was just a bad game.
And they got battered, so it just didn't work. And then the Bills, I thought they'd be picking more than they did, but they did not. On the other side, Ben's absolutely relying on the top 3, particularly Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had a great game. Mm-hmm. Very bittersweet for me watching it happen because
absolutely.
I so wanted Tennessee to win.
Yes,
but
and when they did,
it would have helped if Derrick Henry didn't score many points.
Yeah,
but it was great to see. Dalvin Cook's been great for him all year, and then the rest of the supporting cast were just very solid. I think when you have a top 3 that put together those amount of points, didn't really matter in the end what I was going to do.
No.
I needed someone else to sort of rise, or 2 players to rise to the challenge there. Mm-hmm. And they didn't quite do that. So, but never mind. Look, I'm not going to complain too much. I should have played the Steelers D,
which were on your bench. But you know what? It's a toss up, and you'd rate the LA offense, even road Goff, more than you'd
rate the Cleveland at home. Yeah. So, but we'll take that one. Move on. Yeah. Good for Ben. He moves up, and and for me. On to next week. Yeah, I will say as well,
you were, not to bring up bad memories, but you were berating Ben for having George Kittle in his lineup on Sunday, and he didn't play. Unfortunately, it didn't matter
anyway.
That's the way it goes.
If I'd have won and George Kittle would have not played, then it would have entirely been his fault. He's got away with one there.
Yes, which seems to happen a lot with Ben, because it's definitely happened to me against Ben before.
Consistent scoring though. That's one thing I will say. He's put over 100 and about 100 and a bit 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, sorry. Our next one then, the Gridiron Gang against the Wizard of Oz. My jingle. There we go. We're going to name this one the Snooze Bowl because these two teams barely combined for 100 points as the Wizard of Oz moves to 5-5 with a 3-game win streak for what it's worth. 63-53. Gridiron Gang now losing 3 in a row at 2-8. Looking down the lineups, not a lot doing on Gridiron Gang side. Breeze barely scraped above 10 with 11 points. DJ Moore had a nice save with 12, but other than that, nobody else doing anything. Not a single touchdown for Gridiron Gang this week. And then the Wizard of Boz, 19. I didn't even realise that until I saw myself. 19 points for Russell Wilson. Solid day. Was enough to get him over the line because he too didn't have a great day. A late substitution for Mark Andrews over Kenny Golladay. Got him 17 points. He would have won anyway, but it was a nice addition. History of this matchup, I believe that was Cash for Gold's first win over Gridiron Gang. Yep, it is now 4-1 in favour of Gridiron Gang.
Yeah, that's it. Last year's luckiest player winner. That's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm almost certain I was the only team he would have been last week.
Yeah, I think so. I see, because he's absolutely hitching the wagon up there. So if we're not going to call this a gypsy win, that's it. We're not going to call it at all. That's it. This is the gypsiest of gypsy wins this year. I mean, your team was abysmal, may I say. 53 points is not good across all of that.
And look, if you watched the podcast last week, if you didn't, I did have Jamison Crowder in my lineup, and I didn't really look at it all week, tinkered after, and it completely blew up in my face because I would have won with Jamison Crowder.
There you go.
But
not many times you say that.
No, exactly. But we were saying before the show, for me to play someone like Jamison Crowder and rely on that to bring me the win is something you can hardly, criticise when Drew Brees is going for 12 points against the Lions.
100%, yeah, exactly. Look, there's just a raft of disappointment with your team, and I don't think...
And Freeman got injured, which also didn't help.
I can't slag Ollie's team off too much because they carry in a player who should have scored more, but at the same time, your team didn't deserve to win. Mm-hmm. So as much as this is a gypsy win, absolutely. Yours would have been the gypsy win all of time. Had you have won with 53 points.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I can't complain about losing when I have that low scoring out.
Exactly.
And we did say last week this was going to be the low score of the week because my team doesn't score points, and Ollie just had a horrendous row of matchups.
That is true, and so it was. Take it and move on. But I mean, the Wizard of Oz, that's it. They needed some magic to get through this game. They did.
Yeah, and that's all we need to say on this game, really. So we'll go to our final game of last week then, which was actually probably the best game of the week.
Great,
near enough. It was the Detonators against Pakistan. A battle for bragging rights in the Southampton division was about all these teams were going for as they both entered this week at 3-6. But Detonators notched a win over Pakistan though, as they moved to 4-6, 128 to 119. Looking down the lineups, great day for Lamar Jackson of the Detonators. He got 39 points. Aaron Jones had another multi-touchdown day with 3 touchdowns en route to 27 points. Christian Kirk also got 3 touchdowns, getting 32 points, and the Colts State got 12. On Pakistan's side, 25 for Josh Allen, he's been good for them all year long. Le'Veon Bell got 13, Devontae Adams got 12, Tyreek got 22, Gallup got 14, Bunker got 14, Lions got 10. The only player to not go over 10 was Curtis Samuel, and he got 9.5. Come on, Curtis Samuel.
What are you doing?
The history of this matchup. Pakistan and Detonators have now tied the series at 3-3.
Look, I'm going to put it this way. Pat would feel really salty on this one because this is exactly the sort of board that we love to see every week. Nice, consistent scoring, everyone contributing, everyone going over pretty much over double figures. It's exactly the sort of numbers you want to see from everyone on your team. Mm-hmm. There is no weak link there. Even you say Curtis Samuel scored 9.5. Take 9.5. That's
if you say your lowest scoring player in the week gave you 9.5, assume everyone else got you 9 at, let's say 10. You're getting like 90 points.
100%.
Right?
That's it. Exactly. So it's just a nice rounded board. Ollie on the other hand, relying on his boom or bust. He went bust last week. He's on boom this week. Yes, and if when you have Lamar playing against the worst D in the league, when you've got when you've got Aaron Jones doing what he does,
Carolina's run defenses are awful as well.
Absolutely, three touchdowns, taking advantage of that. So no yardage, but if you've got Aaron Rodgers, you can make the positions where you just run it in for a yard, and that's fine.
It really was the matchups last week that made it for better. Matchups combined with good plays. Lamar Jackson, great player against Cincinnati, worst arguably defense in the league. 39 points. Aaron Jones playing Carolina, really bad team, good running back on a run-heavy team, 27 points. Christian Kirk against Tampa Bay secondary, arguably the worst in the league. They just cut the guy they were playing last week. And they're obviously one of the most pass-heavy teams in the league. 100%. 32 points. 32
points. That's it. That's all you need. That's it. That's all you got. Other than that, it's very underwhelming. Really underwhelming, in fact. I don't know why he's playing Rosas.
That is a head scratcher. And also, we've been saying for weeks about Sammy Watkins and Mike Williams and some of the receivers that this team. Will Fuller, who's tried out that why you had Marquise Brown on the bench.
Yes,
against Cincinnati.
At this point, that's it. Players like that. Why are you not playing them? I mean, it could have been more for Ollie. I think he probably should have been. But at the same time, is that he's not having to. What worries me, and what's worried me about his team for a while, is that, and as was proven last week, is that if they don't, any one of those players don't perform, whether they be Lamar, whether they be Aaron Jones, I'm not going to go with Christian Kirk in this, but or Rodgers on the bench. Any one of those three don't perform any given week, he's nowhere. Yes, he's got 128 points, which is great, but you look away from that, there's a problem. Pat, on the other hand, I mean, fair play to you, Pat. 119 points. I didn't think your team was capable of that, my man. But
no, he's done a good job of turning it around.
Yeah,
we do
agree.
have to give him credit. It's not really translated in the win column, unfortunately, but
it should have been this week. It really should have been. Anybody else? It's a damn shame that the two Ollies didn't play each other this week, because that's where justice should have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair play to you, Pat. Let's hopefully have a better week this week.
No power rankings, as I foretold. Tom posted them after we finished the podcast on Sunday. Willing to bet my money the same will happen today. He'll obviously post it later than this, so go check them out whenever they're there. So we'll just go to the standings, milestones, and stats. So we'll start with the standings. Tuckfards still leading the league. No one else on 8 wins yet, but the lead on the league, it has got narrower. It's 1 win, and there's 2 teams creeping up on him now. So for the league title, it's not looking signed, sealed, and delivered. But for the division, still in pretty good stead. The next closest is 5-5, bucking the trend, and we now have 4 games to go. 11, 12. 5 games to go. 11, 12, 13, 14. No, I got it right. 11, 12, 13. 4 games to go. Apologies. So he's not quite done it, but in all seriousness, he probably has. But the dream team there at 4-6 with Pakistan down there at 3-7. Portsmouth division still all to play for. Iksan leading it right now at 6-4, and the other 2 teams vying 5-5. They both won last week as well, and even the Detonators won. Everyone won in that division last week.
That's close. So we had exactly the same situation in the same division last year, and it was just a complete everyone was on. It's true.
It's crazy. It's something magical about the Portsmouth division.
I don't really know what happens there, but yes, everyone seems to be the same in there. So,
but NA still has an outside chance. We see they have weeks like they do.
Not this year, surely not again.
2 wins behind in the division. We've seen crazier things happen.
They have to rely on so many things going on at Baltimore.
We've seen it
at Green Bay.
And then the Winchester division, Chris, you were leading up 7-2 on your own. Well, you've now got someone jostling alongside you at 7-3, as Ross moves to 7-3 as well. You are ahead of him with about a 60-point advantage, however. Benes Estes, we know there's troubles. They now fall to 4-6 as well, and Gridiron Gang at 2-8. So those are the standings. The current playoff breakdown is obviously the Tuckfards almost certainly going to appear in the playoffs, but for Iksan and even Forge Flyers potentially, the division leads are suspect, and the race for the wild card is getting a bit more interesting. Ross is on 7 wins, and he currently holds the 4th seed right now. But there's a couple of 5-5 teams kicking around, so there's still a chance.
There's still a chance. That Portsmouth division is going to be the one, though. That's an absolute shark tank in there.
Yeah. Whoever comes out on top of that will be very, very happy indeed. We'll go to the breakdown. So we've got Forge Flies, not the best of the week last week, Chris, 5-6, but you still lead up this metric. Tuckfards 7-4, about what they've been for the last few weeks. Iksan, obviously, that they got one of you. They were 8-3 last week. Benes Estes somehow still 4th in this, despite their troubles. They were 3-8 last week. Ross's team 9-2, so they're climbing up. They take a bit more of a lead over Tom, and then everyone else really there you'd expect. But Ed is with an 11-0 week, lifts them away from the likes of the Dream Team and Pakistan, probably deservedly, and then the usual suspects at the bottom. Let's highlight Mike as well. 5-5. Has a breakdown record of 26-84.
What is it? We saw exactly the same thing with Oligada last year. I don't think it was as bad as that. But, I mean, to cobble yourself to 5-5 with that sort of score, you are... Well, we should call you the Gypsy King, really.
Yeah, indeed. Looking at the coach metric, my dad had a perfect 0, which is also the rating I give his start of Jared Goff last week. The Dream Team, there with a -11 as well, mainly due to a lack of depth. Ross's team's still doing pretty good. With 7 there. Your team, Chris, you would have had the points to win, but it would have taken a lot. Or the Steelers defense mainly. Pakistan there with 2, my team there with 4, not much doing. No one else really had a big week there, so we know the people at the bottom, Tom's Tyrants, much like myself with Jamison Crowder last week, can't get out of their own way in terms of team selection. So we'll go to the true ranking. Forge Flyers up top still, as you would expect. Ross's team, though, the wildcard team,
doesn't surprise me.
Number 2. Good record, good points, good breakdown, good coach. That's what you get. Phil, they are dropping down a bit. The Tuckfards, they're now at number 3. Benes Estes, again, somehow at number 4 here. That is just a combination of a still good breakdown, still a good coach score, and they have had pretty good points forward. Ixan, the next one, they are tied 4th, in fact, which is what you expect. Dream Team is a bit of an odd one at 6th there. They are really benefiting from the coach ranking, which, like I say, is mainly due to a lack of depth more than anything. And bucking the trend again, the only other one. Oh, big guy touchdown on the screen in front of us. Is that Tariq Armstead?
That's it.
By any chance?
Monday Night Football's going mental. So yeah. Oh wow.
What is going on in this game? So then we'll go to the all-time statistics. We have a 3-way tie at the top for all-time wins. Per Necessities, or Coach Stubbs I should say, Coach Merritt and Coach Barnes, all at 85 apiece. 85, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's leading this up by the end of the season. Any other nice round numbers? Ollie got his 80th career win, well done. Anything else? Pat got his 40th career loss. Not seeing any other. Tom win.
Tom won.
He got his 80th regular season win. And that is your milestones. So we will mosey on to the previews for week 11. We have a few games for you this week. Let's pick a marquee matchup. We have Gridiron Gang against Fudge Flyers, which is the podcast bowl. That's about the only thing interesting.
That's absolutely.
Bucking the Trend against Pakistan. The Dream Team against the Tonk Fuds. Bedenators against Tom's Tyrants. Ixan against the Wizard of Boz. And Bare Necessity against Four Weddings and a few Newsomes. So bearing in mind this is a divisional week, I would lean towards the Portsmouth division matchups.
So would I.
I think it's got to be this one if you're talking in terms of playoff race.
Yeah, so can we? I think for marquee matchup this week, we'll just focus on the Portsmouth division because that is, as we said earlier, it's an absolute shit show in there. So we're gonna go. Let's do both the same as it's.
Okay, we're going to have another co-marquee
matchup because there's nothing else interesting this week.
Sure, here we go then. So first up then, we'll go with Ixan versus the Wizard of Oz. The current leader of the Portsmouth division, Ixan at 6-4, take on one of their contenders, the Wizard of Boz, who are 5-5. Both of these teams carry multiple game win streaks into this one. Obviously, only one can be victorious. Currently, that's projected to be the Wizard of Boz, as they are slated to win this one 93-88. Looking down the lineups for the Wizard of Boz, David Montgomery comes back into the lineup, I think, for Mark Andrews. Kenny Golladay also comes back into the lineup for, I don't know who actually. They may have dropped someone. I'm not really sure. Or was Montgomery in there last week? Maybe no. I think Montgomery was in last week. Apologies. Golladay comes in for Mark Andrews. Jimmy Garoppolo also comes in for Russell Wilson, who's on a bye. That is quite a big loss for this team. On the other side, Ixan at the moment, Colton Sutton comes in, I think, for Derrick Henry, who's on a bye. That's another big loss as well. Calvin Ridley has come in, I think.
Yeah, he was in the
for George Kittle, who obviously did not play. Let's cover any injury news here. Let's cut the music right there. It was nearly the end. Any injuries we've got here looking at Ixan's side of the ball? Just George Kittle. He could come back this week. No other injuries for the Wizard of Boz. I'm not seeing any injuries in the starters. There is also a clean bill of health other than a couple of buys. History of this matchup is 2-2, so split down the middle. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, so I think here that Ben's playmaking ability may well have been a little bit diminished this week. Only because he's lost Derrick Henry, who last week, for one reason or another, did win in the week. But you've got guys here who aren't on massively good matchups. So you got Rivers hasn't been great all year. Playing KCO is not bad, but it's just got.
But they're a better pass defense than their run defense.
It doesn't make me go. Ooh.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, you said that game as well. I believe that game was in Mexico City.
Yes, of course it is. That's it. Yeah.
So not at home.
International.
No, I guess the Chargers may have a bit more of a fall.
Closer to home. He lived in San Diego for so long.
That might be a shorter commute than the 2-hour drive to LA he does.
Just get on a plane and go. John, on the other side, Jimmy G against Arizona, I quite like that. So that gives me a bit more of a warming
It's tricky with Jimmy G though, isn't it? Because they're obviously such a run-heavy team.
This is true.
Arizona are they're an okay run team, but you look at some of the scores there.
it's not great.
It's a leap of faith.
Yeah,
really,
100%. Yeah, I just think with these two teams here is that it's going to be with receivers or not. I think Dalvin Cook against Denver is going to be great again, but whether or not playing Denver, it's going to be a little bit less. I think Cortland Sutton with a rookie QB. I don't think he's Flacco back this week. I don't think he is he?
No, they're rolling with Brandon Allen. I think Flacco's on IR maybe, and
that's gone. So
he gets the Xavier Rhodes treatment this week.
So that's not great. Marvin Jones is alright, playing Dallas, maybe not so good. Calvin Ridley against Carolina, we say they're terrible through the run defense, not bad through the air.
Yeah.
Gurley against Chicago, they're terrible against the run. But then Gurley hasn't been.
They don't use him. Yeah. It's basically a split backfield at this point.
They haven't. Yeah, he hasn't been the same guy. Pants against Atlanta, that's it.
I'm not sure.
Neither am I.
I don't know. After what Atlanta did to New Orleans this week, who knows?
Exactly that. So you just can't. You can never rule them out. So I think that if you're going to play Ben, this is not a bad week to do it. On the other side, at LA, at Carolina, Dallas, at Miami's not bad. That's it. Singletary is the number one back now. Cooper Kupp against Chicago, difficult, albeit is at home. Yeah, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence either, like the Vikings did against Denver, obviously, with the rookie QB. So, if I'm going to go with anyone, I think this week it warms me more to have Ollie's decent players playing in games that could well be up for grabs. Ben, on the other hand, he's going to have to rely on Dalvin Cook and somebody else and Rivers to have a reputable game in Mexico. Yeah. I think he's going to have to rely on Gurley to do all right, but do I see it? Do I feel confident in it?
It's a tough game to call.
Exactly. It's because he's been very, very, very consistent in the last couple of weeks, Ben. And Ollie was obviously terrible last week with a similar core of players. So, I want to go with Ben because of the consistency.
I'm going with Wizard of Boz.
I think Wizard of Boz is just going to get across the line, but it could well be down to the QB.
Yeah.
And whether or not Rivers puts on a show in front of a crowd that's going to be huge in I presume it's in the Azteca, so it's a massive stadium. Whilst Jimmy G could well just be game managing in Arizona at home, against Arizona at home, and that ain't no good.
No, yeah, certainly. I just look at the rest of the roster, and outside of Dalvin Cook on Ben's side, there's no one there that I could say is a guarantee to go off. I could see Marvin Jones have a good game. I could see Calvin Ridley have a good game. Even Todd Gurley have a good game. But I wouldn't bank on it. And then you look at the Wizard of Boz. Cup's got to have obviously he got nothing against Steelers, but he's basically a wide receiver one.
Yeah. Would you rather have Cup, Jones, and Golladay against Calvin Ridley, Marvin Jones, and Cortland Sutton with a rookie QB? And I think the answer is yeah.
And Wizard of Boz has got Devin Singletary as well, which like I said, Miami's no longer a joke, but they're better. So I think I'm going to lean the Wizard of Boz here as well, and that's going to make it an awfully spicy last few weeks of the regular season. So we will go to the other Portsmouth Division game now, which is Thomas Tyrants against the Detonators. So let's preview it. The other two contenders in the Portsmouth Division, Detonators Thomas Tyrants face off to keep up with Ixan and potentially the Wizard of Boz. Detonators 4-6. Thomas Tyrants 5-5. Currently, it's projected to be 80-64. However, it does look like we need some changes on Thomas Tyrants' side of the ball. Let's start with the Detonators then. Jamison Crowder comes in from the waiver to the starting lineup. And other than that, I believe they are unchanged. So Ollie is going with 5 receivers this week.
There you go. We said it last week.
5 receivers we did on Debate Corner. Thomas Tyrants, meanwhile, they are clearly unchanged right now. So they've got Chris Carson on a bye and the Giants D on a bye. I would expect Leonard Fournette to probably come back in, although James Conner could come back in too. And they've got the 49ers D to place in as well. So this one's projected still after those changes. Actually, it's about even. It's about tied. So that would mean Thomas Tyrants is going with 31 personnel this week. The history of this matchup, let's find it. The Detonators are 6-10 all time against Thomas Tyrants. Injuries And any other notes? Nothing on the detonator side. A few buys. A Packer buy. That is a chunk of the roster out of it, to be fair. For the detonators on Tom's Tyrant's side, no injuries in the starting lineup. Jeffrey is day to day. I'd imagine he suits up. James Conner is expected back for Pittsburgh as well.
Yep, I think from Tom's perspective, if there's 1 week to play Ollie, it's this one. Where his dangerous Packers are out. Lamar's playing Houston, which could go one of two ways. But as he's seen all year, it doesn't really matter too much what D he's playing against. The fact that he's got the ability to rush and rush a lot, it gives him a very solid floor. Other than that, can we just talk about the 5 receivers that he's got? Because 3 or 4 weeks ago, you wouldn't have expected any of these to be starting. So you would have expected Crowder to be starting, Watkins to be starting, Williams to be starting, or Kirk to be starting. You'd probably expect Hollywood Brown to be starting, but that's it. That's about it.
Who else could he pivot? He doesn't really even have much to turn to. That is basically the team this week.
100%. And let's talk about the matchups as well, because I think we've got to talk about Crowder's Washington's not bad. This is Watkins in the game in Mexico against the Chargers, but he's definitely not the number one option. So he's probably number 3 option at best. Christian Kirk in San Francisco is not going to be as easy as playing Tampa. Those 3 touchdowns were gold dust, and I like the down the bottom, the Browns D playing Pittsburgh at home. It's a grudge match at the end of the day, so you never know what's going to happen. But you'd expect Pittsburgh with a
There haven't been an
average QB
in terms of turnover and stuff. I don't think they've been too bad.
No,
Mason Rudolph's obviously not set the world on fire, but
Let's assume for a moment that you have both Fournette comes back into casting, obviously, and you have
the Niners against Arizona.
The Niners against Arizona as well. So we never like to see it when you're playing your own QB against your own D, but you just got to hope that so one cancels the other out.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think Tom's Tyrants? I would imagine they would probably try and get Jameis Winston in. Maybe.
Or again, pick him up. He didn't, I presumably didn't get picked up this week.
I don't believe he did.
See, this is...
We don't want stat corrections.
No.
Not what we're looking for. So what we got... Oh, he did get picked up. Excuse me. Someone pinched him. But looking what else is there, could you maybe play Baker?
Oh, Baker. No, I wouldn't play Baker.
No, you wouldn't play Baker. Kyle Allen against Atlanta. I'd probably go with that.
You go with that, yeah.
Over.
Yeah, I mean, you're dropping a fairly reputable QB, but
it's San Francisco. That we saw, they just limited Russell Wilson to 18 points.
Exactly
what are they going to do to Kyler Murray?
Who's a very similar type of QB, not necessarily in the way that he conducts himself and the stats and everything, but the way he plays is Russell Wilson-esque. All my days. Wow. Oh, I can't believe that wasn't good. Sorry, we were watching Monday Night Football as well. We're talking about Jimmy G before. I mean, you said Jimmy G can look... He could have been picked 6 times even since I've been here. Look, there are some underwhelming parts of Tom's team. The reliance on the 2 Chargers doesn't strike me with much enthusiasm. Goblin against New Orleans is not bad, especially with... Marshawn Lattimore out this week.
Yeah.
Their D's going to be a little bit weak, and Ballage against Buffalo is hateful.
I wouldn't surprise me to see if Jeffrey plays, he'll probably... I didn't even know, actually, maybe not Jeffrey, but...
If Connor plays...
Certainly Fournette, Connor, I would imagine, come in. And then maybe even DJ Chark, now that Nick Foles is back as well.
So
there could be a few changes.
They've got a few rolls of the dice to go with. Do I think it's down to the QB? Not entirely. Do I think it's down to the supporting cast? Absolutely. Do I think that either supporting cast is exciting? Not really, but I think that Tom's probably going to have more from other players other than his QB than Ollie will. Ollie is so reliant on Lamar Jackson to throw to Hollywood Brown this week, and if that works, then it works. Fantastic. If it doesn't, he could see himself in the position that we saw 2 weeks ago, where he didn't get above 70 points. So, and especially if Tom's got 2.5 stud running backs and Chris Godwin. So I'll take that. I'll take Tom this week.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. Outside of Lamar Jackson, it's just a gigantic question mark what anyone else is going to do. That's not to say they won't do something, because Jamison Crowder could probably have another 15-point game.
Yeah,
Marcus Brown could obviously have a good day. Is it out of the realm for Sammy Watkins to get a rando touchdown? No. Same for Mike Williams. Same for Christian Kirk. Really, I don't know.
It's not inconceivable.
But it's not... Much like I said about Exxon, there's nothing you want to take to the bank there other than Lamar Jackson. For Tom's side of the ball, assuming he makes a quarterback change, the Niners D are going to be good when they come in, and then Fournette and James Conner and even DJ Chark, solid options. There's just solid options there where they might not light the world on fire, but they're probably going to get you an amount. And facing such a roster like Ollie's, where it is such a question mark, you just want to take the bank points.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with the bank points this week as well with Tom's Tyrants. So we are agreeing this week, Chris.
So far, so good.
We'll go to this game now. We've just done that game, so we'll go to this game, which is Bare Necessities against 4 Weddings and a few Newsom. In a Winchester Division matchup, the Bare Necessities take on the wildcard holding 4 Weddings and a few Newsom. Ross is currently expected to win this one 99-83. Ross comes in off of a win, meanwhile Bare Necessities with that horrendous losing streak, 5 games lost in a row. On my dad's side of the ball, Deshaun Watson comes back into the lineup. Matt Breida, is he already in? I think he may have already... Oh no, I think he comes in for Tyler Lockett. Edelman comes in. Actually, no, I think it was Edelman. Braden must have already been in there. Excuse me. On the other side of the ball for Ross, do they have any changes right now? Unchanged right now by the looks of things. So Bare Necessities is going with 21 personnel, and Ross is going with 20 personnel. History of this matchup: Bare Necessities are 5-2 all time against Ross. Injuries, clean bit of health in the starting lineup for Bare Necessities, but Tyler Lockett is injured. He's on a bye, so it doesn't matter. He was hospitalised with bone bruise. For Ross, Matt Ryan, he's obviously going to be limited, but will play. Sanders had a rib issue in the game on Monday, but he's described as day-to-day. Cooper's not practicing, but he's been toughing it out. He should play this week, and no other injury news there.
See, with Ross thing, I just noticed one thing. Is he holding Brandon McManus on the bench as hostage?
Yes.
Just for a laugh. As he spent $30 on his starting kicker, he's got to hold another one.
It's for when Vinatieri gets cut from the coach. he's got the backup in place.
Just in case. Avoiding that. I mean, yeah, you look at both QBs this week. That's it. Matt Ryan has been pretty good fantasy-wise this year, as he is every year, to be quite honest with you. So he's serviceable. Playing Carolina is no mean feat, but again, I think that we saw what he did to New Orleans last week. Mm-hmm. In the Superdome, I don't think they shouldn't change their strategy. No. And I think that he did really well. On the same side, Deshaun Watson is he's a transcendent QB, but playing Baltimore in Baltimore is hard for anyone.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I expect to see him being dumbed down a little bit this week in terms of his points. Otherwise, we just don't know what's going to happen. Brady's not been the same. He's not predicting anything. Is he playing? Probably not.
Yeah, it's a 49er running back off this one.
Yep, 100%. So I see the points coming from there. The introduction of Kareem Hunt's really affected Chubb. I think he's good for a touchdown, but he's not good for monster yardage anymore because they got to split the touches. Edelman against Philly should be great. Allen Robinson's been good all year, but he's got to rely on the Mitchell Trubisky's just been so inconsistent.
I will say he's been good despite Trubisky.
Yeah, he's the only target. That's the thing. He's the only real credible target. Kelsey should put on a show.
But he'll be on. He'll have Jalen Ramsey on him as well.
Quite, and playing in Los Angeles, playing there, and if you mention Trubisky anyway, it's going to be difficult. Let alone him. The entirety of the Rams special teams and kicker. So but again,
I went down the all Rams route. It didn't go well for me. So.
No, this week it could go well against.
It could.
I think that.
I will say that Chicago, for all of their struggles, they've not been a great offense to stream against, I don't think, because Trubisky's ineffective and not great, but they don't really turn over the ball that much.
He is quite mobile. That's the difference.
He avoids sacks. He just doesn't complete passes.
No.
And they always end up seeming get garbage time points. Just completely ruin a defense's day. So, you know what I mean?
It's going to be strange for Dave because he's going to have to support the Rams against Chicago. Super
the
strange.
inner conflict of starting a player against
so
the
weird.
defense.
On the other side, Ross's teams have been irresistibly good. I think that you look at some of those receiver matchups. I think Sanders, if he's good to go,
there are some dream matchups there too.
Michael Thomas, particularly against Tampa, is every time you play Tampa anywhere, it's a bit of a shootout. I think that no doubt it's going to be the same there. Cooper against Detroit is hilariously good. Jacobs against Cincinnati is hilariously good. The Ravens against Houston can go one of two ways. Either Deshaun Watson gets sacked loads of times and they get loads of points.
I wonder if Ross makes a change. He doesn't make many, but this might be the 1 week where he ditches his second kicker for a defense.
It could be, but it also keeps him. It could be a stroke of absolute good fortune. There's only one way he can go really for that D. So you expect D points to be sort of 5 to 10, I suppose, week in week out. There's no reason why it couldn't be. They did a job on Tom Brady and the Patriots. Why can't they do that against the Texans? So, I think Ross is going to win this. I think Dave's had a terrible run of form. There's only really one player around his special team kicker that I like. On the other side, receivers are great. The matchups are great. QB serviceable, and aside from question marks to the D, I don't really mind that. I think that he's going to take another win. Yeah,
I'm going to roll with the same view. We agreed every time last week, I think, as well. We're obviously getting on the same wavelength. 4 weddings and a few Newsom for me. Every year we see it, Chris.
Yep.
We have a team like Ben Estes who are probably in and around league average, if not better.
Yep.
And certainly earlier in the season, where you would argue top third.
Massively.
But for whatever reason, they just don't get the wins week after week. They just find ways to lose.
Yep.
Every year we get that kind of team. That team this year is Ben Estes.
Yeah.
They're on a 5-game lose streak. It's not all self-inflicted, but it just happens. That's where they are this year, and we've learned when that's the case, you don't pick against that because that's what's happening. So, but as you said as well, Ross's team really good this year.
It's becoming
personnel plus good matchups this week for me is what's going to send them over the top.
Becoming a force. So. You see, once you get on a roll, that's it. You better hope it carries on to the postseason. Absolutely. That's where he's going at the moment.
Certainly. Our next one then, it's Gridiron Gang against Forge Flyers. In the Podcast Bowl, Gridiron Gang take on Forge Flyers. Both of these teams coming in off a loss. Gridiron Gang 3 actually. And the projections in favour of the current division leading Forge Flyers, 97 to 88. Looking down the lineups for Gridiron Gang, Drew Brees stays in the lineup at the moment. DeAndre Hopkins comes back in for Devontae Freeman as he was on his bye. Philip Lindsay currently in the lineup as well for Juju Smith-Schuster. He was on his bye last week too. And the Jets D come in from the waiver. For Forge Flyers, you have brought T.Y. Hilton back in for Latavius Murray and the Steelers D over the Bills D. No other changes there. So for Gridiron Gang, they are going with 20 personnel this week, and Chris, you are going with 21 personnel. History of this matchup, Gridiron Gang are 10-7 all time against Forge Flyers. Injuries to be aware of, Devontae Freeman, he is out with some sort of mid-foot toe sprain thing. For you, Chris, T.Y. Hilton, I don't know if he's going to be back.
I don't think so either,
We'll have to see.
Who knows?
And Austin Hooper, he's going to miss about a month with his knee injury, and that's it.
Yeah, I think Austin Hooper's going to be on his way out of my bench soon because time is running out. And if Hilton doesn't play, then Carlos Hyde will. So not too bad. Mm-hmm. But look, I say I've kept going all year with the same 3 that I'm going to rely on every week. It's
a good 3.
This 3 is going to be the same this week. It's it. Prescott against Detroit, which is a good matchup. McCaffrey against Atlanta, and every matchup's good, but particularly this one. And Mike Evans against New Orleans. Mm-hmm. which he didn't do very well earlier in the year, playing them at their place, playing them at home now. He's resurgent. He's become the number one again. He's played himself into some form. I think that we should see a bit of an uptick there, especially as Marshall Lattimore has said, look, this week he's not going to be there. That's it, which has been easily his Achilles heel for the last 3 seasons. Mike Evans, I think he's played them and he's always done badly when he's been covered by him. Darren Moore against Cincinnati. I'm hoping for better things this week. We'll see. Brought in the Steelers. They are the real deal. I say they're playing Thursday night, which I hate, but they are playing Cleveland in Cleveland, and I think that if there's one time to go and do something, it's probably there.
Sure.
So I'm feeling positive again. So we'll see if Marlon Mack can contribute something more than 8 points. We'll see if when Carlos Hyde comes in, he can do the same thing. But really, it's Prescott, McCaffrey, and Evans for me. For you, I mean, you look at outside Breeze. Who you got. Hopkins against Baltimore's horrible, and Lindsay against Minnesota is not much better. Williams against Cincinnati, I like it. Moore against Atlanta, I like it. But so you're gonna have to hope for some bombs there. Damian Williams is coming back to haunt me. That's it.
I added him out of more like out of desperation than anything, and then McCoy was not playing. Apparently, just a rest week. We'll see, but
we'll see. But come back to haunt me to win the week for you this week, and then the Jets D against Washington, which should be good as well for you. So I think that outside of your two, arguably your biggest names, you've actually got some good matchups as well. Which can't be said for last week. So I think 87 points that you got projected there is pretty much right. I think Breeze needs to have a good game for you to be able to have a chance.
Like I say, it could still be Brady at the moment. It's Breeze just because. How can you not against that awful Bucs?
Absolutely right. It's it. And you think he's going to want to turn that around from where he was last week. So I think this is going to be closer than we might think. I mean, I can't go with your team because
absolutely not.
because former statistics say a lot. But I'm going to go for my team. But I think you're going to see your team as a resurgent option this week, and I'm going to be looking over my shoulder a lot.
I do hope so. I'm going to go with your team too. Like you said, there are some not so good things in there. Let's start with the good, of which there's a fair bit. Prescott's playing Detroit and McCaffrey playing Atlanta. Arguably your two best players with two very good matchups. That's probably going to end up in a lot of points. Outside of that, Marlon Mack.
Disappointing.
If Brissett's not back, certainly he could not do great. Evans with Lattimore as well, it's a struggle. And then, as we already said, Hilton won't play, which I guess you would probably pivot to Carlos Hyde in that instance where. It's not great, but he could get some points. And then Darren Waller, unless he gets a touchdown, like you say, he doesn't do much. So you will be relying a lot on Prescott and McCaffrey this week, most likely. On my side, like you said, Breeze, I need my quarterback to light up to give me a chance in a week. That's how this team is built. I'm not so worried about Hopkins. He's one of those guys, he's quite matchup proof.
He hasn't done a lot this year. He's been a disappointment.
He has been a disappointment. We'll just
he's not done as much as you'd expect him to do.
No, certainly. He's been a bit better in recent weeks, as you can see that. But he had that horrendous stretch there. Look, they're going to be trying to catch up with the Ravens.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
And like you say, Lindsay against Minnesota as well, not great. But I'm not in a position to not be playing the guy that's probably the highest scoring player on my team.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, you can't.
This is the problem with Philip Lindsay. I had it when I didn't want to draft him. I ended up with him, and every single week I've not wanted to play him. But then he'll have the good weeks, and you've just got to roll with the bad ones because he does score the points. So,
absolutely right. Look at the names you got. I don't know how you got to where you are. I'll be honest.
Neither do I. It's been a lot of underperforming, really. We'll cover that off in the season review podcast next off season.
100%.
We don't need to dig into it. Yeah, we're obviously picking Chris, but I agree with you. For another week, like last week, I could have won last week. There is a possibility Gridiron Gang could actually win again this week. Next one then, bucking the trend against Pakistan. This week, bucking the trend face off against Pakistan. Bucking the trend on a 2-game win streak. They're now 5-5. facing a team that was unfortunate not to win last week of 3-7. The projections currently have this one 82-79, so it's pretty close. Looking at the lineups, Kirk Cousins comes in for bucking the trend as Daniel Jones is on a bye. Other changes, Mohamed Sanu comes in for DK Metcalf, I think, who is also on a bye. At the moment, no other changes, I think, for Pakistan. They're unchanged right now. Devontae Adams is still in there, so that's probably going to be, I don't know, Terry McLaurin maybe Jordan Howard. So that'll push Pakistan's projection up over, you would imagine. Bucking the trend then, going with 20 personnel. Meanwhile, Pat will likely be going with either 20 personnel or 10 personnel. There is some history here because bucking the trend lost the first game against Pakistan. Injury news, Thielen still recovering from that hamstring injury. He's actually been put in. Sorry, I missed that for Devontae Parker maybe. I don't know if Thielen's going to play this week. I think it was a few weeks after he suffered that setback a couple of weeks ago, so I wouldn't expect him right now. AJ Green, he's still day-to-day. I wouldn't expect him either. Personally, Pakistan, Bell's injured, but he'll play on through it. Adams is on a bye, and no other injuries there.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's going to come up against some defences here this week. I mean, you think of what Cousins has got, Denver, Kamara's got the great Tampa Rundy, Pascal's got Jacksonville, who, for one or another, they haven't got their secondary anymore.
AJ Bouye is still pretty good.
He's still good.
If Hilton's out, he's going to be the top receiver.
Absolutely
so
right.
Might not shadow, but still a tough
still there. Thielen, if he plays, has still got Denver as well. I don't think he will, as you say.
And even if he did play, he'd have Chris Harris on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got the Saints D on the bottom playing Tampa in a what can be a shootout. So that doesn't really bode well for me. The only real good matchup I can look at is Gordon against KC, which if he can do the same thing as what Derrick Henry did to him last week, slice through him, then that bodes well. And Mohamed Sanu, if he manages to get through against Philly, which you'd like to think they would, then he's got it there. But on the other side, I think Pat, when his QB's playing Miami, when his number one running back's playing Washington, his receivers, one's playing in a highly televised game in a massive stadium in Mexico. Tyreek has been playing well. Curtis Sank's playing Atlanta.
Tyreek Hill shreds the Chargers.
Absolutely. Michael Gallup against Detroit. Everything's boding well here for me. On Pat's side, and so whoever he brings in. No, it's not Jordan Howard against the Patriots, which I think is probably not a good thing.
That wouldn't be a good match.
No, that's no. McLaurin against the Jets.
It could be,
Let's go with that because he's going to be that sort of guy who's going to be a safety blanket for whichever QB starts.
It's going to be Haskins for the rest of the year. Yep.
Right. Okay. So Dwayne Haskins safety blanket, like a bit of that. Whenever you play Washington, especially with Lev Burr, so there's plenty of red zone opportunities, and I think that. If they can capitalise on that, then he's in for a good day. So, I think for Mike, if he can get away with a win this week, he'd be doing unbelievably well. But the matchups are really, really difficult. For Pat, I think that they're more favourable. He's got better players, better playmakers, and therefore take the win.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like Pat had, I think, the second highest score last week. Yep. You don't do that if you're not a pretty good team. Okay, he's without Devontae Adams, a big piece, but there's still a lot of good players there. Tyreek Hill obviously leads the roster. Gallup can have a good day. Samuel, is basically the 1B to DJ Moore's 1A, and Le'Veon Bell's still getting the volume, and then Allen's playing Miami as well. On the other side, it's a mixed bag, like you said, for bucking the trend. You've got some good matchups with Gordon and Sanu, and then you've got some bad ones with Kamara, Thielen if he plays in Pascal. Like bucking the trend's not quite. They've been winning a couple of games of late, but it's not been convincing.
No, so there's a reason why they're the lowest scorers in the league by a distance.
Yeah, so
fair play, they've got to the record that they have.
Yeah,
but I think for all of Mike's luck, Pat's had been unlucky.
Yeah, been the bad luck. I think that's got to come good this week. Yeah, so I've had a stand to win this one here. And then finally, we have the Dream Team against the Tugfarts. The Southampton Division lead Tugfarts take on the Cellar Dweller. Sorry, not the Cellar Dweller, that's Pakistan, but nearly Cellar Dweller. Dream Team. Both teams coming in off of losses, and the Dream Team currently slated to win this one. Wow, that would be an upset, wouldn't it? Looking down the lineups, the Dream Team, I don't believe they're changed yet. The Tuck Fards.
They brought in Deebo Samuel.
They have brought in Deebo Samuel. Did they bring in Adrian Peterson as well?
Yes.
For Golden Tate, and then Saquon Barkley, as they are both on a bye. So the Dream Team going with 31 personnel, and the Tuck Fards going with 20 personnel. History of this matchup: the Dream Team are 5-7 all time against the Tuck Fards. Injury news: nothing on the starting lineup or bench, and then Phil. Nothing. Oh, Stafford, not that it really matters. He could be back this week, possibly. Nothing else there, really. So, over to you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously got absolutely no faith in Nick Foles because he's not playing Westbrook. He'd rather play Deebo Samuel.
That's quite telling.
Because why would you? I mean, why would you do that? I mean, there are some like, you know, head scratches. I know he's got a good matchup, but I mean, you know.
Yeah,
no one's really been a standout in that San Francisco.
No, I think Kendrick Bourne was doing all the damage in the game we're watching right now. So.
Kendrick Bourne just was. It's since I believe he scored.
Let's take a look at Deebo Samuel. What's Deebo Samuel been doing?
The last couple of weeks, yes, he scores 11 points against Seattle.
I think he had a return touchdown in this game as well, which is fluky. So he had one good game last week, and that's pretty much it.
112 yards for him. Fair enough. Look, we've seen Phil do this in the past, where he's looked at previous game form and gone with it. It's worked. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not gonna hang around that too much because it's probably one of those fluky ones that happens. But you look at the rest of the team and you go, what this would have been good 3 years ago. That's it. You look at them. You look at this. That's it. Outside of Mahomes, you've got if you had Ingram and Peterson as your running back combination 3 years ago. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yes, Peterson's playing the Jets, and they've been running really heavy. And
their run D is actually pretty good, the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to run a lot. The Redskins are going to run a lot. It's going to be Haskins to Peterson. Go. It's going to be workhorse. You're going to see how it's going to work. So Peterson's been fairly viable. Ingram's been viable as well, but I wouldn't necessarily go with that against Houston. Also, you've got to look at the way that Lamar's been playing and how he just throws and runs and does it all himself. Mm-hmm. Doesn't need someone like that, So yeah, he's probably good for a 1 yard touchdown, but that's about it. Keenan Allen, from looking at it, he's been fairly disappointing the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Landry against Pittsburgh strikes me as a hard matchup, and he brings in the Patriots D, who are playing in Philly. Is that a given? No,
certainly not.
No, I don't think so. So, I think that with Philly, it's middling and not particularly exciting. Which is exactly what Viv's team's been all year, middling and not very exciting. But look, if this is the week to turn it around, maybe this is the week. Derek Carr's got Cincinnati, it's it, potential for multiple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott playing Detroit again, same thing. They give up yards everywhere that they go. Last week we saw Mixon improve his statistics only because they had a rookie QB and he was a safety blanket playing Oakland's awful D. It's bodes well for him. Greg Olsen against Atlanta, if they throw to him, is good. Diggs against Denver.
It's not going to be good. He doesn't play well with Thielen out of the roster.
But why not? I see this is the strange thing because you think that he'll be the go-to guy, right? But and he certainly was when Cam was under center. But it's a bit of a desperation play. I give you. Diggs hasn't looked like his projection the whole year. Kenyon Drake, why? I know that David Johnson didn't look great, but you just think to yourself, against San Francisco, that just doesn't really work.
We saw what it was against Tampa, who are also a good run defense, and even though Drake got a lot of the work, didn't do much with it.
And the Chiefs against the Chargers, which could be a shootout in Mexico.
I wonder for Viv if there are some changes to come. I don't know if he goes straight back to Wentz, but does he bring Ertz in?
You've got to go Ronald Jones right now.
Yeah, he has actually. Sorry, he's benched Ronald Jones for I think. It must be Joe Mixon.
You cannot drop Ronald Jones at the moment and play Kenyon Drake. That's just not right.
He's also got Jones Samuels, which, he's... Yeah. If Connor's not there, he probably is.
Yeah, you may bring him in.
Oof.
Right now, you've got to go with the top fives. They're league leading.
I don't know, you do, but the problem is, it's much like with your team or some other teams you say, Chris. This is a good week to play the Togfods. Yeah. I just don't know if it's a good week for the Dream Team either.
No, well, that's right. He's got to be so reliant on his top three. I expect that, and Ronald Jones, because he's got to play because he's number one. He's number one back anywhere.
Again, I don't know.
That's it. You can't.
He's got some thinking to do.
You can't viably play Frank Gore right now. You can't viably play Wentz against the Patriots. You can't play. Who else has he got down there? You can't play Ertz against New England, really.
Yeah.
Really?
You probably.
Would you play? The thing is, though, would you play Ertz against New England rather than also against Atlanta? Because that's the only swap.
No, but I think I'd maybe play him over Diggs or Drake. Certainly over Drake.
I'd put Ronald Jones in for Drake.
Ronald Jones over Drake.
Right now, and I wouldn't have said that a few weeks ago, but you have to. Right,
I think you can make the case for putting Ertz over.
So yeah, and we forget that Phil has Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
and Patrick Mahomes can win weeks.
Yeah,
by himself.
Yeah, certainly.
So
who are you going with?
I have to go with Phil based on the fact that he's leading the league still somehow, and there are some components in there which I do like, such as Mahomes, Peterson, Keenan Allen in that game, and the Patriots defense.
Yeah.
Whilst on the other side, I think that Viv has to rely on Derek Carr, which isn't a given, having a good day against Cincinnati, which tends to be a good day for everybody, but you don't know. Zeke looking like Zeke again, and Mixon doing Mixon things.
Yeah.
But that is a streaky play. Everybody else I'm not particularly excited about. I'm certainly not excited about his defense playing in a shootout.
No.
And I'm not excited about Kenyon Drake playing.
No, I think you're right. I think I really, really want to pick the Dream Team because we know the Tugfods are due some positive regression. What am I trying to say?
Yes,
win, negative regression, whatever you want to say. They're due some losses because they've dodged quite a few. I just don't know if the Dream Team are well placed enough. And let's not forget the Tugfods are still a fairly good team, certainly with Patrick Mahomes. Ingram's capable of a good day. Like you said, Peterson's probably going to get volume. Allen's capable of a good day. I think there's enough there for Phil to probably see the Dream Team off. Albeit I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Dream Team with an upset. So that is your Week 11 games. So it's certainly getting to the interesting part of the season. And
certainly.
And over the next few weeks, the podcasts are going to be really electric. As we get closer to the podcast.
I think so, because you look at some of how close things are. That's it, and how decisions that are made affect your season. I mean, it takes one win, one loss right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's on a knife edge.
Especially in the Portal division, it takes that those small margins. And that's why we've highlighted it this week because all four teams in there really do have a shot at winning that and getting the playoffs. Whether or not they get it further than that doesn't matter, but somebody's got to come out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We saw last year. It's it. Ollie came out of a very tight group to win the league. So
yeah, you sure did.
You never know.
You never know, indeed. So we hope you have a good rest of your week and enjoy your fantasy football prep. Good luck in your fantasy football matchups, unless you're playing me, of course. We'll be back with you next week. Goodbye.